Hey everyone, good afternoon. Mayor Paul Tenhaken here on Good Friday, April 10. Hope you're having a great day today and enjoying your Good Friday, and I hope you have good things on tap ahead for Easter. I want to talk to you today about, yes, COVID, but specifically about some updates that have occurred in the last really 3 or 4 days in our city. We're going to talk a little bit about Smithfield, talk a little bit about what you can do about our hospital capacity, that sort of thing. Um, I wanted to start by just talking about Smithfield and Smithfield Foods. As everyone knows by now, we have a significant hotspot of COVID cases that are coming from Smithfield employees in our city. A couple things I want to highlight on that. One is the spread of COVID amongst Smithfield employees. It's hard to say right now definitively if that's happening at the plant or outside of the plant as well. And so I want to be very clear on that. I also want to be very clear that I won't tolerate any sort of racial discrepancy, hate crimes, discrimination based on anyone in our ethnic and immigrant community as being a carrier or a spreader of COVID. So we don't have any place for that in Sioux Falls. I want to go on record and say that that won't be tolerated. I think we're better than that. I know we're better than that. So I hope we'll all act that way. I'll tell you about 2 weeks ago, before I even realized COVID, or excuse me, Smithfield had any cases, I reached out to Cooper Caraway, a gentleman with the labor union, who I know works with the folks at Smithfield, and I just said, hey, you're the largest labor union in the city. I want you to know that if you need anything from me throughout this time, I'm here. And so I made that reach out very early on. And so then this past Sunday, really Sunday evening, I got a message on what was a significant number of new cases at Smithfield. At that point, we were about at 80 cases. That was on that Sunday. Today we're at 190. So if you think that we knew or that I knew about Smithfield cases for weeks and weeks, that's not unfortunately how this virus works. It spreads and grows extremely rapidly. And it's easy for me to say that. I saw that in action now the last 3 or 4 days. This is why we have been pounding and pounding the message of social distancing, proper hygiene, because we know what a fast spreading virus this is. And the Smithfield situation has really, for me personally, given me a view into that from the driver's seat. And so the Smithfield cases have exploded, but I want you to know this. I talked with their CEO yesterday. It was a difficult call. They're in a difficult position as an organization. I'm in a difficult position as a mayor. We tried to have empathy for each other's positions. I wanted to let him know that my primary goal is public health in the city. It's not the economy. It's not jobs. It's not bonuses. It's public health. And so our expectation of them is that they're doing everything within their powers, within their plant, to ensure a safe working environment for their employees. Based on what our public health team saw from the inspection they did yesterday, we feel comfortable about that. However, we're going to be watching that closely. Now, the state is the lead agency on the contact tracing, on the quarantining effort of Smithfield employees. And so that's important to know as well, that the state has that jurisdiction to work with Smithfield and work with their employees on the response that we've seen there. Now, I want to also share a little bit of, again, if you can call it silver lining in all this, is, we've had less than 30 hospitalizations from COVID in our state. Okay, we've had 177 people fully recover. And so I want to always keep in perspective what we're seeing in terms of cases. Now, is that going to increase? Absolutely. We knew this was coming. This is why we've been preaching social distancing, the hand hygiene, putting ordinances in effect proactively. And some people crying foul that you're way overreacting. We're not. We knew this was coming. And I can tell you, Sioux Falls, if I can be honest, it's going to get worse before it will get better. And I know you've heard that before. Um, we're expecting a very difficult April and May with COVID. We just are. And based on projections and numbers, I think we're in for a challenging couple months here. And so I need everyone to buckle in with me, all right, to do what you can in your work environment, in your home environment, to be strong, to be smart, to be diligent, to avoid hysteria, to look for facts, and to be a voice of reason and someone that your neighbors, your friends, your family can count on and rely on, because we need togetherness right now in this response. This afternoon, I just had a call with 40, I would say 40 or 50 of CEOs and chief operating officers from the largest companies in our city, basically reinforcing to them what I need to see from their companies so that they don't become a hotspot, all right? And that includes a variety of things. So limiting visitors, no visitors, the social distancing practices we're expecting of employers, some who are abiding by that, some who are not. Now, the calls to shut down, okay, to shut things down. An interesting time in educating people on the powers of the mayor, right, and the powers of the governor, and the ability to walk into a business and say, I'm going to shut you down because I don't like the way you're doing business, is exactly how government works, and especially at the local level. What we can do is we can hold businesses accountable for their public health practices, okay, for their fair business practices, things that they're doing. And so that is why we did a public health inspection yesterday, learn about Smithfield's business practices, to understand what they're doing to mitigate spread, and we'll continue to be working with them. All right. So remember this: you shut down an employer like Smithfield as well. You put 3,400 people out of work. You put 3,400 people now who are, some are paycheck to paycheck, who will now have housing challenges, who will now have public health challenges, who will now have food challenges. And we have a whole nother tsunami of issues that result from that closure. So I am pushing the Smithfield leadership hard, okay, leaning into them, as is the state, but we're going to hold them accountable, but we're also trying to protect employees and their families as well. So we're expecting Smithfield to protect those employees, and I'm trying to protect those employees and their families as well. It's a very delicate balance, and so please know that. And so have confidence in the state and the work they're doing, but also please trust your local health department, your local leadership, that we are doing everything we can right now to keep those employees at that facility safe. Last thing to say is this: I'd ask that you take care of your families. It's your weekend. You may want to get out and see family or see friends or someone's house. I would ask that you don't do that. I would ask that you stay home for Easter, some distance for Easter, and start thinking about what you can do to help our community right now, how you can help people, what skills you have that you can put to use to help people. And so I want to thank you for your diligence thus far that you've practiced with listening practices. Our traffic counts are way down in the city. This city has done a really good job at listening to the recommendations of the healthcare professionals, the CDC, the government, others. Don't let up on that. Now is not the time to let up. Now is the time for diligence, foot on the hard work. It's going to be a rough few weeks. I'm not going to, and we're going to have to stick together, and we'll figure this. We're already making a plan, what I'm calling our resilience, for what the other end of this thing looks like, and how we're going to kickstart our tourism economy again, and how we're going to kickstart our economy. We're going to be working on that already. So thank you for all you're doing, Sioux Falls. Have a blessed Easter. Enjoy time with your family, at least the one directly, and bye-bye.